Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper, and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends, and another in our series of I Built Them So You Don't Have To. Today's spotlight is Theresc, and I'm telling you, I have never had such a difficult time showing off and showcasing a champion in all my time. What she has is unique to only one other champion. She has an AoE decreased resistance, which was added to the game not so long ago, but so far Nari, a legendary champion, is the only other champion that has this debuff, making it very difficult to decide how to put her through her paces. Originally, I had recorded some footage of damage. I put her in full damage gear. I'm telling you right now, I didn't put that in. It just wasn't worth doing. Reality is she doesn't hit hard. She hits weaker than all other epic nuking champions. You've got, whether you've got Fenix, whether it's Alika, whether it's, Whisper for single target. All these other, there's at least 100 champions that hit harder than her. It's not that she hits poorly. She will add to your damage totals, but she's not going to be a huge nuker. So finally I figured out, let's have a couple scenarios where I think I can make use of her, or at least have the pretense of making use of her, and we're going to show you those two instances in this video today. So first we'll go over her kit, I'll show you how I built her out, and then we'll take her into those two instances where I think she might be useful for people in this game. So without further ado, let's take a look at her. It's Theresc. All right, here's our Theresc and how I've built her out. And I gotta tell you, she does look cool. We gotta give her props where props are due. I like the look. She's a dark elf. She looks like a very dark, evil, mischievous elf. She's got like ley lines, glowing lines on her body, which is really kind of funky. I just kind of I really like the aesthetic here. The multi-shot arrow, not a very smart way of shooting arrows. Just do one at a time really quickly. But hey, you do you, Theresc. You do you. As far as we have her built, we have her at 3888 HP. We have her at 3972 attack. We're still allowing her to do some damage. 232 speed. We are getting her full crit capped and a 206 crit damage. But the big thing is that accuracy at 393. As far as her masteries went, we are War Master proccing her. That's because we are taking her in against bosses. So the main thing for her, you could argue Eagle Eye if you need to. If you need that accuracy and you can't get your champion there without it, go Eagle Eye for that extra 50. Otherwise, the War Master proc is nice against bosses where we're going to take her in. So there's, I guess you can't really see it because I keep forgetting to do that. Yeah, that's all we have. See, there, right there, War Master. And then of course on the other side we're increasing the duration and the chance to land. As far as her kit goes, let's take a look at it. First of all, she has an ally crit rate in all battles by 12%. Then she has a passive that inflicts 10% more damage against targets whose resistance is lower than this champion's accuracy. That's a big deal, or can be potentially. As it turns out, she doesn't do enough damage for that to be a huge deal, but it is again. Anytime you can add damage over sustained fights, it's not a bad thing. This is the big deal. This is the one that there's only one other champion that has an AoE. That one other champion happens to be Nari the Unlucky, or Nari the Lucky, Nari the Unlucky, Nari the dwarf-looking dude that was just, I believe it was a recent fragment champion or fusion, one of the two. But this is the only epic that has this ability. It's a big boy too. The big decreased resistance, which is a 50% chance, bookable to 75% chance on a 4-turn cooldown. Dress down attacks one enemy 3 times, 40% chance on each hit of removing a buff, and that goes up to 60%. And then finally her A1, which attacks one enemy 2 times, each hit has a 25 and is bookable to 40% chance of increasing the duration of a random debuff by 1 turn. So overall, very synergistic kit. She's lowering everyone's resistance, then she's helping removing buffs, she's adding turns to the debuffs. Overall, a really good synergy to her kit. However, there are a few little chinks in the armor, and we'll talk about those in the final thoughts. But there she is in all her glory. Now, where are we going to take her? First place I want to showcase her is in the Hydra. So we're going to head over to the Hydra right now. Hydra, you say? Yes, I do. I want to showcase kind of a way you can make use of her in the Hydra. This is the kind of area that I really feel like she's going to excel. And we brought her into Brutal Hydra. Now, I'm not going to run a full key here. I just want to give you an idea of how I think she could be used in this game. So we're going to walk in here, and we might have to restart it. This is a good thing about Hydra. You can restart keys, and we'll talk about why I might have to restart in a second. But we're going to go in here. Now, all of a sudden, we don't have Theresc, right? So here you see I landed 1 decreased attack. Now we're going to put that HP burn out. Oh, yep. Nope, didn't land the HP burn. So now what do? We try to put some... Oh, wait, we landed a decreased speed. And then, yeah, okay, boom. Obviously not a whole lot going on there, right? Not a whole lot. Now we've got all that garbage going on. Very, very, very bad. Now let's take out otherwise one of my favorite champions. I felt bad having to dress him down the way I did. Now let's bring in Theresc, and the same team will play with her as part of the team. And we'll start with Duchess. I probably could have put anyone in there instead of Duchess to really make it look good. So now we're going to put that decreased resistance. Bam, we landed it. Everyone's got the decreased resistance. Now, same champion. Bam, everyone's got the decreased defense. Everyone's got... Unfortunately, that might be a problem. We might have to restart this because of the HP burn, because he got slowed, which is silly. Yeah, okay. Let's try. Sorry, I have to regroup this. I gave him extra resistance, but he's still getting stolen once in a while. Let's try this again. Everyone but him, whatever, right? So we got that. Obviously, you see, we got lucky there. Still stealing. She's... Hate this guy. But it doesn't matter. Who cares? We're gonna land the HP burn. We're gonna taunt. If he spreads that afterwards, who cares, right? We're gonna do the big boy boom because we got all these debuffs. Who cares about those poisons? Because we have the burns up. And now we've started at 1.2 million, and we can keep going and going. But that's, you know, and here, hey, great, she's got each hit has a chance of removing a buff from the target. We can hit over there, boom, remove the buff. Very good. We could have waited till afterwards. I don't need the taunt right now on him. So you see what's going on, right? You see where she's going to be. This is I mean, it's probably obvious, but the deal is, this is the point. This is the whole point of using this champion. I was unable to land a single buff, but once I brought her in and used her, we were able to land all the buffs. Now we'll keep going, right? I obviously didn't build this team out for a full key, and this is brutal, right? I needed to go into brutal to be able to show this test. So why then, you're probably thinking, why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just build the champions out for accuracy? I want to show you the accuracy of these champions that I used. 117 accuracy. Mordecai, 142 accuracy, and then the star of the show, Balthus, 169 accuracy. With those accuracies, everyone landed everything because of Theresc. That is functionally how the decreased resistance will work. And why would you want to do that? I'm going to tell you why, because that's why you're watching the video. If you are in the mid game, you do not have a developed tower. Remember, just so we look at this, like look at what I had to do here. Let's go into this, right? I'm getting accuracy. I'm getting 80 from the Great Hall plus 15. So without even doing anything, I'm at least 95 accuracy because of my my end game account and the fact I have full faction guardians. So we're getting that extra accuracy. But for many people who are just starting out, they're maybe progressing into hard or from hard to brutal Hydra, they may not have a Great Hall giving them an extra 80 accuracy, and they probably don't have 80 resistance. Usually people save resistance to the last. So they're trying to build out champions. Maybe this is not the best champion to use. I think Mordecai might be a better look here, right? So to build these stats, imagine if I had to go with 95 less resistance build and still hit that 400 resistance, or 450 on brutal is actually kind of the sweet spot. To be able to do that with a champion with mid game or early late game gear and get accuracy of at least 350 to be able to handle all situations on brutal, right? 450 resistance, 350 accuracy. That is not easy. That's what, 800 total resistance accuracy combined. That type of gear is not on a lot of accounts. And that's where Theresc comes in. She has the ability to mitigate that, to say, look, you just worry about building out a team. Now, if I were to build this whole team with her in it for the Hydra, I would then build my team with high resistance and keep their accuracy as whatever it gets, right? If I think 200 would be safe, right? Because then you're getting 300 accuracy with the effective accuracy, I guess the way you're looking at it. Or rather, you're thinking they have, the top one I think is 315 resistance, that's cut in half. So you're good at, I think at 200 accuracy, you're going to land most. At 250 accuracy or 300 on maybe Mordecai, because you know it's important. Maybe you bump it a little higher. But nonetheless, you don't need 350 accuracy anymore because you're dealing with halved resistances. Now, is this the most optimal way to do it? I would argue no. You're better off bringing in an increased accuracy champion to boost your accuracy levels and effectively get the same net result, but you will not get resisted on your accuracy. However, there's not a lot of accuracy champions in the game, so effectively this is how you would use her. Another scenario, and I don't have a team built in to do this, but we'll take it in there and we'll talk about it. It's the same thing. And sorry, that's into the Doom Tower. And a perfect example would be someone like the Celestial Griffin. How I would build out a team to deal with the Celestial Griffin is, you know, if I wanted to, now this one's not so hard, right? But when you get to those higher level ones, if you're struggling, you build resistance. And the reason to build resistance is so you don't get those debuffs thrown back at you. You can, I think you can even resist the cleanse. I can't remember the strip. But let's build that same Mordecai. See if it works here too. I honestly did not test this. I should have tested it before doing the video, but don't judge me. Judge not, lest ye be judged thyself. So saith Madcapper 2020. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Okay, so this is the what am I even paying attention? End battle. I've obviously been drinking. Oh, I love that. I want to tell you, Plarium, I love that you don't hold what we just tried. That you default back. I really love that. It's a favorite of mine. That and getting punched in the nuts. Those two things are real close to my heart. And I'm just glad that you can allow me the pleasure of at least one of them. Although I'm sure, one you guys would be more than happy come over and give me an old dick punch too. Okay, rambling. So here we go. So this is the same kind of theory here. Who cares? I guess super raids. Oh, I thought. We're gonna die. Okay, maybe not. Probably should save it. So we don't want to use it on the first turn anyway, because it's going to throw back. So the last thing we want is to have that up and then him throw it right back at us. Or is that the second round? I can't even remember. Oh yeah, the first round strip, second round. So obviously none of this is going to happen. As you can see, it actually landed the HP burn. God bless you. That would never happen in real time. You see now these burns are just gonna be placed back on. She did increase the one. I want to save it here. God, they're all landing there. I guess it's because it's the lowest one. But this is the same kind of deal. You build them for high resist, so they don't get all that taken, and then you put that decreased resistance, and now you can go to landing all your buffs again. Because you're not worried about how do I get the accuracy. And I think the highest level, the top floor on this, I want to say it's around 350 resistance. So again, it's the same thing. It's the opportunity to reduce the resistance so that you can land these buffs. Those are the two places I think you can use her. And that's kind of where I'm pretty sure, if I had to guess, it's kind of where the developers were going with this. For reference, and I think is he a dwarf? Yeah, Nari the Unlucky. Nari is actually the best at this. He puts a decreased accuracy and a resistance, 100% 3-turn cooldown. So that's kind of where I see her being used. I know this is a little bit different than my normal one, but honestly, for a champion with such a unique piece like this, there was no real easy way to just formulate a team and run an auto and do the fancy stuff all around it. I just wanted to give you an idea of what Theresc would look like and where to use her. Most importantly, I want you to listen to my final thoughts, because there is a very big disclaimer on her and a very big red tag warning about using her for your Hydra and your bosses in the Doom Tower. Okay, so why don't we then head right there now and head out to the final thoughts. My final thoughts on Theresc. You know what? Her kit synergizes really well. It's written out really well. I bet you it looks amazing on paper. Here's the problem that I have with Theresc and why I think there was such a monumental miss by Plarium to design her the way they did. And it all stems around with this. This is the make it or break it for this champion. I could talk about the fact that she probably shouldn't be an attack-based champion. She'd probably be support. I think it would be nice for her passive to be something helpful, like heals all allies 10% if blah blah blah. Though that sort of thing. If their resistance, if there's a something around resistance again, but beneficial to the team, either a heal or a cleanse or something around that. I think that would be more beneficial for the kit, and I think she should be a support, not an attack champion, especially as the first of her kind among epics. But when you actually look at this ability, there is no way that you can use her in Hydra reliably. And it's because Hydra itself has so much RNG. There's so many different steps that may or will happen in the process of playing the game that you cannot simply add RNG to your keys. You do not. That is the worst thing you could do, is add more RNG. So while in theory, the ability to land a decreased resistance, to be able to allow your champions to land with low accuracy so that you can bolster your resistance, sounds good. In practice, she only has a, when booked, 6 books by the way, a 75% chance of landing. And you saw that on the second example where the Head of Mischief just didn't land. It didn't resist, just didn't land because it's not 100%. And if it's not 100%, then all the other things that need to happen go wrong with that same 1 or 2 heads, or maybe even all 4 heads if you have bad luck, that it just didn't proc. It just didn't proc because it's not 100%. The second thing is it's a 4-turn on a 2-turn debuff. That means if you're going to build out a team that is relying on this resistance to be up, you're going to have to extend it not once but twice in order to effectively use the whole synergy of this kit. And that is way too much. You've already got 6 champions that have to do 6 different things to ensure that they can counter 6 possible heads. And on top of that, you're going to have to bring in a goddess Aniri, right? You're going to have to bring in someone that extends debuffs, AoE, multiple times, hopefully. There's not a lot of them. I don't think there might be one. Is there any that does AoE other than Aniri? And I think there's a chance on Hope, maybe? Is it Hope? No, Hope extends or cleanses. Yeah, so, I mean, what do you do? It is so difficult to build already in Hydra. And so the reality is, I'm going to tell people, if you're trying to use Theresc, move on. Wait until you pull in AoE, increase accuracy champion, and go that route if you're trying to get to higher levels using low accuracy, high resistance. Or there is an increased resistance buff out there. Wait for those champions to end up on your account and use that. Adding a buff is easier than adding a debuff, and it's there you're taking away the RNG completely, which means you're going to have more consistent keys. And consistency is the name of the game when it comes to Hydra. So unfortunately, I don't like her, and I think it's an easy fix. This needs to be 4 bookable to 3, and it needs to be, or a 3-turn resistance, right? So there's still a 1-turn gap, right? That you then can bring in one champion to then extend if you need to, or make sure that you're running the turn order and everything, knowing that that one turn you won't be able to land buffs that are debuffs. That's fine. And it has to be 100% though. With only 2 champions in the game that have an AoE version of this ability, it has to be 100%. It can't be Nari or bust. There has to be an epic that can do this. All other debuffs have epics that can 100% land. Heck, Defense Down has a rare champion that can do it. They're just the need, the desire, the happenstance for that. The fact that you have introduced this new debuff, which is already suspect but usable, but then you're just handicapping it on your first champion of epic variety that is going to be on people's accounts. I think she was also part of a fusion, so she might have been part of Nari's fusion for all I can remember. So there will be people, mid-game players who didn't do the full fusion, may have gotten her. Here's an opportunity to shine, and instead it's highly tarnished. So my hope is they change this to a 4-turn 100% or a 5-turn but a 3-turn debuff, and a 100% chance to land. It needs to happen. Quite honestly, without it, I wouldn't recommend Theresc. I'd find another way to do your your Hydra boss, or just stick with hard until you get the champions you need to be able to progress to brutal. That's all I have for you today. What do you think about Theresc? Do you think I'm being too hard? Do you think that, by the way, her damage is not, I think I already mentioned that, but damage is not there. It's okay, and therefore that in itself makes her good for Hydra, because then she can add to the damage totals. But what do you think? Is there a way you think that she could be used? Doom Tower, it's a little bit better because it is a single target, so you're not as reliant. If it doesn't land, you can just take more turns. I don't think that's as dire, so she's okay in Doom Tower. But overall, what do you think? Would you use her? Is she a vault champion? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, make sure you watch a video that is I think over there. I'm gonna put a little link to it. Is it's a video on Fire Knight 25 versus all high elves, but it's also a chance to win 540 gems. I've started to make sure I'm giving those away every month again. So 1 of 5 of you will win just leaving a comment on there with your UM number. So go over there, watch the video, give me a thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed. You have to be subscribed to win, and put your comments in as the video tells you to do. It tells you very specifically what to do. So and give yourself a chance to win. It's pretty good odds right now. So get over there before it's too late. I'll draw that either Friday or Saturday, and 5 lucky winners will win. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you. Please be kind, be safe, and we'll see you in the next one.